You are listening to Single Smart Female. This is Jen, explaining the possibilities in your love life and examining your mantourage dating experiences. I am here to help you do life and love on your terms by tipping the scales of love permanently in your favor. So don't forget to text this episode to all of your single smart girlfriends, and let's get started. Hello, single smart female. It's your romantic fairy godmama coming to you, yes, you, today, with a single smart female listener question. Now, this listener question comes all the way from the great state of Ohio. And Miss Should I Have Said Yes, who is 36, by the way, writes, Dear Jen, I just started dating again after being in a long marriage, and I feel like sometimes I'm not doing the right thing or not following my gut instincts. I recently connected with a man via a dating app, and after talking for a few days, we decided to meet. We had a great time. We watched a movie, ate pizza, cuddled on the couch, and then we had sex. Afterwards, we talked and got to know each other, and we're both having a great time. Then he asked if I wanted to sleep over. Of course, I overanalyzed everything and assumed he's only asking me because he was being polite. So I declined the invitation, telling him I had to get home since I had an early day the next day, which was not true. I wanted to stay, but I talked myself out of it. So my question is this. When a man asks a question like that, should I just take it at face value? Maybe he really did want me to sleep over. Okay, miss, did I get it right? Or did I do the right thing? Here's the deal. I'm going to start with your actual question here is, and then we're going to go into something much bigger picture and more sinister about this submission because I want you to have an amazing dating life and then an amazing love life. And if you decide to get married again, an incredible marriage. So let me start with answering your question, the surface question. And I'm going to tell you, if a man asks you something, yes, you're going to take it at face value and you're going to do things based on what you want versus what you think he really wants or what he is really trying to say. We get into a clusterfuck of turmoil because of this always trying to figure out, well, am I doing this right? And overanalyzing it and making ourselves fucking crazy. And we as women have to stop. If he says one thing, if he offers one thing and you want to take him up on it, you are more than welcome to take him up on it. And if you don't want to take him up on it, by the way, make sure you don't make stuff up. That's where we really fuck ourselves on an energetic level over and over again. You know, it is okay to reject an invitation and to be able to do it with honesty. You don't have to get into the specifics. You don't have to go, oh, well, I'm not really sure because I don't know if you really want to, blah, 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 blah. Or even with other women, we do this all the time. We make up shit to reject invitations because we're afraid of hurting their feelings. And we've got to fucking stop this. That is not living in integrity. And this is for all women. Stop this shit right away. There is always a way to say something that if she gets triggered, it's really her own thing. Or if a guy gets triggered, it's his stuff. But we have to be more honest. And so all you'd have to do, let's say you wanted to reject it and you say, thank you for the invitation. I had a lovely time, but I am going to go home. Really? That's it. No having to say I have an early morning, no saying, nothing. It's okay to say I'm going to go home and be okay with it. You can also say something along the lines of that's definitely a tempting offer, but I'm going to go. Now, definitely only say these things if they're accurate or because if it boils down, let's say you had a shit time and he says, do you want to sleep over? You're going to say, I'm going to go home. That's all you have to say. But thank you for the evening. All you had to say. Really, really simple. Now let's get to the sinister stuff because this is the really big piece of it. I'm going to be really blunt with you and tell you that I hated your first date idea. And if you've known me for a while, and all of you ladies deserve a much better date than this stuff. Is kind of like an instant relationship date. So it means one of two things. First off, I want to make it very, very clear. If a guy will not take you out and go do something for a first date, even if it's a walk at the park or some kind of activity, I'm going to tell you right now, he is not a good guy and get rid of his ass, okay? Any guy that is unwilling to go out and not go to somebody's house for a first date is absolutely 100% piece of shit guy who thinks he's just going to get laid. That's all he's doing, all right? And that's all he cares about. And let me make that very clear. Now, let's say you're dealing with a guy that, this is what he offered and you went ahead and accepted and not realizing. Now, does this mean that every first date that starts this way is going to turn out poorly? No, but you're setting up something. If it is like he has genuine interest in continuing to get to know you, you're setting up something that's a lot like an instant relationship. And instant relationships sometimes work, but more often than not, we're hiding behind in the idea that instant relationships is that there are lots of problems with instant relationships, which is why I do not in any circumstance teach instant relationships, because I think the majority of them are absolute shit. Now, are there some that have worked out? Yes, I totally concede that. Not saying that, but for the majority of women, this is a setup for failure over and over again. Even if she gets into the relationship, even if she makes it, a lot of times it'll fizzle out within a few weeks because of how it's set up. But even if she does make into it, she's going to go from relationship to relationship. So she's going to be disappointed over and over again because she's become a serial monogamist, which a lot of times is just cover for her being afraid of her own company and being alone for a little while and really standing for what she wants and who she is as a romantic woman in the world. Okay, so what's the problem with an instant relationship? Number one, you're on a wing and a prayer that it's going to work. No joke there. You have no clue what's going on. Number two, there's no vetting. There is no fucking quality control. You get to see absolutely nothing about this person, and you're just accepting whatever is and what it comes up with and trying to work with it. You have no leverage. That's another thing. That is probably the biggest thing. One of the reasons men step up over and over again in the process of mantourage dating is because women hold the primary leverage. Why? Because they've kept their options open and they're not running straight forward into exclusivity just because, oh my God, it's just so much easier. It just feels so much better, because she realizes what she wants romantically, even as she's discovering it, even if she doesn't know all of it yet, trumps that need for an instant relationship. She realized it's better to take her time to pace herself, to pace the men in her life, to see how they stand up for her over time before she chooses to run into a relationship. And I was just talking to a man who's married to, well, first off, he's very prominent in his work as well, but he's also married to a very prominent dermatologist. And he was telling me, he goes, the first thing I did was get turned off because you could just feel on a first date the desperation of women to go straight to the relationship. And it's a huge turnoff, ladies. Huge turnoff. Desperation is a huge turnoff. So in order to get rid of that desperation, you have to decide to show up differently, which is why I teach mantourage dating, because you are the prize. But when you turn up with that desperation to be in a relationship, you've no longer made yourself the prize. You are a consolidation gift, or actually you are the here you go, she might do. And you're way more than that, but you have to decide to be way more than that. I can sit here and yell at you over and over again, but until you decide to be the prize, there is nothing I can do except for keep telling you until you decide to take the actions that it takes to make something different happen in your life. And this is what I do with women over and over in Secret Society when we're working together, is I help them turn this around and learn how to do it in a way that feels congruent and feels in integrity with who they are as women, so that they can show up, get rid of that desperation, and then all of a sudden, they've got a ton of men to pick from, and high quality men, and they're learning to receive and learning how to give in the proper ways instead of the desperate way that most of us do that. So, okay, I also want to go back to, why instant relationships are very problematic. And we've already kind of covered this, but I want to reiterate it. An instant relationship is mostly based on insecurity and fear of being alone. And again, and something I already mentioned, but important to reiterate, is you have no idea how this man is going to step up for you over time. Whereas when you do mantourage dating, when you take your time getting into a relationship, you get to consistently see how he shows up. And the way he shows up, not within a 2-week window when we go straight into a relationship, or with even a month, within, a certain period of time, an extended period of time, you get to see how he is going to be present in a long-term relationship. So now I want to move on to some first date habits, because nothing bothers me more than seeing women settle, especially for crappy ass first dates. So the truth is I teach dating that is timeless. okay? Meaning you can use mantourage dating over and over again. And I spend a good portion of my time with women. We're setting up first dates differently. Why? Because every woman that has a lot of problems in dating, it usually starts with the first date. They're either, my favorite is she meets a guy within a couple days. She kind of likes him and go ahead and as fast as she can, she goes to meet him for drinks or dinner, coffee, drinks or dinner, coffee, drinks or dinner. And it is fucking boring as shit. All right. You are going to drive yourself nuts doing this routine, but yet women do it over and over and over again because they've bought into the idea, whether it's from dating experts, whether it's women that they've met, that they've bought into two ideas. That A, they're not worth taking their time and going into it and that no man's going to be interested in it. And B, that they need to assess the chemistry between somebody right away. Both of those scenarios are 100% false. Why? Because I know, and I've proven it over and over again, that if you take your time, you need to be talking to somebody for at least a few weeks online on a dating app before they even have a chance to go out with you or have a video call with you, okay? At least 2 weeks. Why? Because otherwise you're just going in blind. Meeting somebody for the first time off of a dating app and going into that first date right away, that's a very, very high level skill for women that most women do not have the perception. They do not have the sense of humor. They do not have the skill set, the adored woman skill set to be able to execute. And when they start reworking, especially in the first date, all of a sudden they start having first dates that they didn't even think were possible. And then they have second dates and third dates and they see somebody step up for them over and over again. And it started with that first date. So talk to them for a few weeks online. Of course, when I work with women, that's what I do is I teach them how to engage in a way that's fun so that they have these amazing conversations and they can determine whether or not this guy is even worth going out on a first date. Okay? Because then you're not wasting your time going on dates. Trust me, it takes a lot more time to just go meet people over and over again and then be disappointed. It takes more time and it's energetically more depleting than it does learning how to engage for a few weeks in a way that feels good to you and that is a lot of fun for both of you. And then going out on a first date and setting yourself up for so much better and higher quality first dates, which lead to the potential of so much more. Now, number 2 on first date habits, quit going to coffee, dinner, drinks. Coffee, dinner, drinks. Oh my gosh. Sometimes I just want to poke things in my eyes when I hear this over and over again. And women are like, I don't like dating, blah, blah, blah. Well, no shit, you don't like dating. How boring can you get? So you have to, I've told you this, make it an activity, some kind of activity. You can have a couple different tiers of different price points and things like that. Some guys, when you engage with them longer, they get so excited, they'll take you anywhere. They'll do anything just to spend time with you. And they think it's the most fun and exciting thing. So, it can be activities like axe throwing and bowling and all kinds of stuff. Now, remember, there's a method to my madness. The activity helps both of you if you get nervous so that you can communicate and still assess if there's a potential of continuing to get to know each other and to have more fun. But there are tons of activities. Just Google first date activities and you're going to have list upon list of things that you can try. It can be going for ice cream and a walk in the park. It can be hot chocolate, during the winter. There's so many freaking things. If you're one of those people who wants to do something outside, there's tons of things to do outside. And again, you can tier it if you want to. If you're feeling kind of nervous about asking for what you want, you can tier it at different price points. And you start with a smaller price point and see how the men respond to that. And then start building up your courage and asking for more and more. Okay. Now, again, we're not doing this to, try to take advantage of anybody. What we're doing is genuinely try to make it fun for the two of you and really have a great time. Do not accept the whole Netflix and chill shit. Not within at least the first 2 to 3 months, okay? It's beneath you, okay? Yes, I love to cuddle. I love to watch Netflix or different shows, different apps and stuff. I love all that. But he doesn't earn that right to do that with you. That's more of a relationship-y thing right at the beginning. If he's not going with you to do different activities, then he doesn't get that privilege, okay? Now, Number 3, this is important for first date habits, better first date habits and not bad habits, is you need to keep it on the shorter and don't follow it for the love of all that's adored with a nightcap. I get it. Your hormones are raging. You might want some sex, but sometimes you just got to put the dick down and understand that you're looking for something. Now, look, I have no problem with my women that want hookups. The problem that happens, and I see over and over again, is women that are claiming that they just want hookups and they just want sex. A lot of times, it's not that they really want that. It's like they like the feeling of connection, and they're hoping that instant physical connection is going to result in an instant relationship. More times than not. It doesn't mean it can't happen, but more times than not. Please understand, you are not going to get the connection that you want, the instant relationship you want through sex, okay? And if it does, it peters out really fast and goes back to that instant relationship thing and all the list of shit that can go wrong. So if you are looking for that instant relationship, do not go at it through sex. Now, if you just want a fully sexual encounter, more power to you. You go do you. I have no problem with that. Make sure you use a fucking condom. Make sure you take care of yourself and make sure you go in there with the right mindset that this is a purely sexual encounter of the flesh. And you go in with that knowing doesn't mean that this will lead to an instant relationship. And in fact, I do not, even under those sexual circumstances, do not recommend an instant relationship. Okay, finally, first date habit number 4. Let him know that you enjoyed yourself. There are quite a few women that leave that very ambiguous. And sometimes you won't hear from a guy because he likes to know, just like you like to know, that you enjoyed him, okay? We're not playing games here. We're not, being so obtuse that he, trying to play hard to get and shit. It's ridiculous. We don't need to do that. We're much more powerful than that. So let him know that you enjoyed yourself. And there's really easy ways to do it. You can do it in a fun way and just say, hey, in case it wasn't clear, I had an excellent time tonight, so thank you. Thank you is a big thing with men. They love thank you. They love appreciation. They love respect. And when they're in a relationship, they love for you to be proud of them. And then you can say, here, let me repeat that. In case it wasn't clear, I had an excellent time and thank you. And if you ask me out on a second date soon, there's a good chance I just might say yes. And you do these things in a very fun and playful way. Now, there you go, too. You're also setting yourself up if you don't hear from him right away or whatever. It doesn't mean you're more likely when you say something like this to hear from him sooner. But if you don't, then you can just relax your mind and know that maybe there wasn't a connection for him right at that moment. But you've still kind of set yourself up. There's an even better possibility you'll hear from him down the line a little bit. So understand that guys, they're nervous like us, especially on first dates. And they want to know that we're having a good time too. There's a lot of ways. That's what I teach when I work with women is I teach them how to have the most amazing first dates. And I've given you some of the basics to set yourself up for an excellent first date. But agreeing to these bad habits of, just meeting at people's houses or make sure you're not meeting their family and all that kind of stuff. I know it feels like, oh, he really likes me. He's really interested kind of thing. It's just bad all over. Just start with him and you going out on an actual date. And that's going to be the stepping stone for you having everything you want romantically. And by the way, if you need help really learning how to set Mantourage dating up in the right way, make sure you go take my 3 free day course. Sorry, I said that wrong. 3 free 3-day course, mantouragedating.com. That's MANTOURAGE dating.com. Okay, lover girl, it's time for the final thought on today's show. The most incredible relationships start with a great first date. Don't sell yourself short with an instant relationship and bad first date habits that will never lead to a lifetime of being adored on your terms. Hey, lover girl, don't forget to subscribe to the show in your favorite podcast app, as well as share this episode with all of your single smart girlfriends. And if you are ready to finally stop being on the losing end of love, then listen up. I exclusively work with women like you who want it all: career, success, to be loved, adored, romanced, and who are willing to change the status quo in dating so that you can finally have the love life of your dreams as well as a soft place to land at the end of your day. Most smart, successful single women I know and or have worked with have one thing in common. They are incredible at the rest of their life, but they feel powerless, uncomfortable, and awkward in romance. Just because you are smart does not mean you should figure it out on your own. I can guarantee you there are several pieces that you are missing, big pieces. And in fact, one of the fastest ways to unravel all that's keeping you from the love life of your dreams is the secret society of adored women. But none of this means anything to your love life until you take the small step of courage by scheduling your application interview for the Secret Society of Adored Women at secretsocietyofAdoredwomen.com. This is the way beyond the podcast opportunity to completely reinvent your dating and love life as it is happening. It's a love life makeover year where you can tell all of your craptastic dating and love experiences to kiss your hot ass. This is you having a real life romantic fairy godmama at your fingertips instead of ever wasting another moment on one-size-fits-all crap advice about men, dating, and love. These are the additional pieces that I won't reveal on the podcast or in public. We are going to cover the ins and outs of Mantourage dating, leaving nothing untouched. And I'm going to work with you directly to customize the experience in order for you to get everything you want out of life and love. Procrastination is the exclusive killer of all dreams, especially in your love life. It's time to get your dating and love life in order. It's definitely time to stop pretending you enjoy mediocre dating love experiences, but most of all, it's absolutely the right time to develop your mantourage and let me help you create everything you want romantically. Magic included, no batteries required. Meet me over at thesecretsocietyofAdoredwomen.com to schedule your application interview.